Have you ever had a thought so profound that it stopped you mid-sentence? You try to share it, maybe with a friend, a coworker, someone close, but instead of curiosity, you're met with silence, or worse, confusion. The moment passes, you swallow the idea, and once again you feel a little more alone. This isn't unusual. In fact, it's far more common than we talk about. Because in a world obsessed with speed, certainty, and surface-level connection, depth is often mistaken for difficulty, and complexity for confusion. But here's the truth. The deeper you think, the further you drift from the mainstream. And it's not because there's something wrong with you, it's because our culture isn't designed to nurture introspection. It's built to reward repetition. History whispers the same story. From ancient Greece to the digital age, those who dare to question reality are often pushed to the margins, not because they're incorrect, but because they're inconvenient. Thinkers like Diogenes, Hypatia, and Spinoza weren't rejected because their ideas lacked clarity. They were shunned because their clarity revealed something uncomfortable. And even today, nothing triggers discomfort like a question that doesn't have a clean answer. But why does this discomfort exist? Why does society struggle to accept those who see the world through a wider lens? The answer isn't just philosophical, it's biological. When someone introduces a radically new idea, our brains don't process it as just information. We process it as a threat. This is known as cognitive dissonance, the psychological stress we feel when our beliefs are challenged. It's like the mind's immune system activating. And deep thinkers, by nature, are often the virus to accepted thought. Even if you're calm, respectful, and open-minded, your ideas can feel like a mirror, reflecting back not just truth, but the fragility of someone else's worldview.
Now compare this to other forms of superiority. If someone is stronger than you might admire them. If they're more successful, maybe you're curious about their path. But if they think on a level that unravels what you've always believed, that doesn't inspire, it threatens. Because unlike strength or status, intelligence penetrates identity. It pokes at the core of how people understand the world and themselves. That's why a highly intelligent person can walk into a room and instantly feel tension, even without saying a word. Not because they're arrogant, but because their presence alone implies a shift in the intellectual pecking order. And in group settings, this effect multiplies. Research shows that people are more defensive about ideas in public than in private. Why? Because in a group, we're not just managing thoughts, we're managing perception. When someone drops a question that challenges the norm, it doesn't just create discomfort, it risks status. In this environment, the deep thinker becomes socially expensive. This is why intelligent people often find connection in solitude, in books, or in rare, intense conversations, rather than daily banter. It's not that they're antisocial, it's that they're starving for something real while surrounded by empty noise. Most people are wired to seek comfort, but the philosopher, the truth seeker, they're wired to seek meaning, even if that meaning comes wrapped in discomfort, doubt, or existential unease. The German philosopher Heidegger once wrote that authentic living requires confrontation with anxiety. In other words, to truly live, not just exist, we have to sit with the things that make us uncomfortable. Deep thinkers do this often, but the cost is real. It can feel lonely, misunderstood, and alienating. But here's the twist. It's in that very loneliness that true clarity begins to form. So, if you've ever felt like your thoughts are too much, if you've ever been told you're overthinking when really you're just thinking beyond the script. If you've ever felt disconnected, not because you're lost, but because you see too much, know this: you're not broken, you're not alone. You're simply operating at a depth the world doesn't always know how to swim in. And that's not a weakness, it's a quiet strength. A strength that shapes the future, even if the present isn't ready for it yet.